Hello everyone, my name is Rachel and today I'm going to be talking about the oceans that are filled with plastic, the problem and the cure. So I want you guys to take a look at these four pictures and think what they have in common. We have a water bottle, a bag, these things are all made out of plastic. So why don't we take a look at where plastic came from. The first synthetic plastic was made in 1909 by a chemist named Leo Hendrik. And it started being mass produced in the 1940s to make things like bottled water and packaging products. Today, we make over 200 million pounds of plastic every year. And in the bottled water industry, we use 17 billion barrels of oil every year just to produce bottled water. Now, plastic does not biodegrade. It photodegrades with the sunlight. So it takes 500 to 1,000 years for plastic to fully degrade. So what exactly is the problem? Our oceans are being filled with plastic, which is hurting both our wildlife and our environment. In this picture, you can see that the turtle has got a hold of a plastic bag. This one is a little harder to see, but you can actually see the guy in a canoe going through like a plastic ocean. So, how does plastic make its way into the ocean? According to Brianna Day up at West Hawaii Community College, people are the problem and people are the ones that are not disposing of their plastic properly. And plastic can also make its way into our rivers and our streams, which eventually lead to the ocean. I want to take a minute to look at the plastic island. The plastic island is located between Hawaii and California, which is located in the Pacific Ocean, and some say that this island is about the size of Texas. Now, because of the ocean's currents, when plastic goes into the water, it all ends up in one place, causing, as you can see, this huge thing of plastic. Now, even though this island is made up of all sorts of trash, 80% of it is plastic. So let's look at the effects on our wildlife. It hurts both our land and marine animals. What happens is these animals mistake plastic for food and they ingest it. However, their stomach cannot digest the plastic. So we have all these starving animals, but their stomachs are filled with plastic. Also, animals such as turtles and sea lions get caught in the plastic and they can't get free and most of the time drowned. Plastic has very toxic chemicals in it, and that also gets into the fish when they ingest it. Some of the chemicals are DDT and PCP. Also, there's a toxin in plastic that imitates estrogen, which is feminizing the male fish. Now what this does is it messes up the mating behaviors, and that decreases the wildlife because they're not producing as many babies. And because of this toxin that imitates estrogen, it is also leading to sterility and even birth defects in animals. As you go higher up the food chain, you'll find more concentrated toxins in the animals, such as tuna, sharks, whales. And the reason for this is when you have a smaller animal at the bottom of the food chain, they'll ingest this plastic, and then another animal bigger comes and eats it, and the higher up you go, you'll find that this bigger animal has way more toxins in it. And 100 million sea mammals are killed every year due to consuming plastic. As you can see here, we have a couple pictures of what plastic does to our animals. We have a bird that's trapped in a plastic bag and a turtle that got caught in plastic and his shell could not break through it. Now let's look at the effects on our environment. So plastic pollution is a big problem in both soil and the ocean. As you can see here, we have just a couple of the different toxins in the plastic. And in the production of plastic, we have high levels of carbon dioxide emissions. And I wanted to put in the scenery because you don't want to look out your back door and see a big pile of rubbish in your yard, and we don't want to do that to our oceans. Also, in the production of plastic. We use many of our natural resources such as oil, gas, and coal. And once we use all of those up, we can't get them back. And so plastic floats. So as you can see here, we have plastic that's sitting on the surface of the ocean. And also, have you guys ever wondered what these numbers are inside the triangles on things such as plastic bottles? That's the type of toxin that is used in that bottle, and that's how they know how to recycle that certain type of bottle. So what are some of the solutions? Since this is such a big problem, we can't necessarily find a cure for it, but we can at least reduce the amount of plastic that goes into our ocean. So according to Brianna Day, education is a very big one. If you educate people, she believes that they're more likely, they want to be the cure instead of the problem. And also switching to reusable bags and cups. Since we use plastic bags all the time, all of that ends up in our oceans. And a lot of places just banned plastic bags. And also, according to Graph, we started recycling in 1988. And they knew at that time it was going to be a really big problem and they needed to find a way to fix it. However, since plastic is still being produced, it's still a very big problem. So make sure that you recycle and dispose of your plastic and trash properly. And also, if you see something when you're walking on the beach or down the side of the road, pick it up, because eventually it will end up in the ocean. And also, since so many things are packaged with plastic, you want to try to buy something that has less packaging compared to something that has more packaging. So to kind of go over what the problem is plastic is severely harming our wildlife and our environment. Well, who's responsible for this? We are. We are polluting our oceans, our animals, and even ourselves because we do consume a lot of the fish that are in the oceans consuming all of these toxins. Well, how can we fix this? By changing to use less plastic and recycle, we can help our both land and marine animals and our environment. So what do you think happens now? Is the problem going to get better or worse?
It'll get better.
So thank you guys.
Thank you.